700 feet per minute. Again, not so much of a landing as it is a controlled crash, with the attempt to catch one of the 4 wires across the deck. Hornet 1 3/4 of a mile, call the ball.
321, Hornet ball, 552 cents.
Roger ball. That's what the landing signal officer, Guido, would say. With his hand up in the air, foul deck, hands down, we're good. Now watch, he slows down. Now listen and watch as he plants it and then shoves the throttles forward to go around. What that technique was a way to prevent loss of control should the tailhook miss one of the 4 landing on a carrier. But now from the left, 500 feet, coming in at about 400 miles an hour, the carrier. Now watch for the landing gear to come down and the flaps to go down. Every landing is graded. For those of us who are civilian, whisper, pass. Still too loud, huh? How about the Hornet? Give us some speed.
Yes, sir, Rob, showing 21 Alpha, slowing down past 140 knots, looking for 120. There's 130 knots, 22 Alpha. Alpha's coming up. 25 Alpha. 24 Alpha. 130 miles an hour.
130 miles an hour, It is a controlled crash. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, from VFA 106 at Naval Air Station, Oceana, Virginia, the FA-18 Hornet carrier configuration pass. If you look down the tailpipes, you can see the afterburners glowing. That's raw jet fuel being poured into the exhaust. It gives this aircraft an incredible kick in the pants to get into a fight or out of a fight very, very quickly. Generally, the aircraft carries between 2 and 2.5 hours worth of gasoline. But if they put the burn...
I'd like to say a big welcome to the Make-A-Wish kids.
All right, call some speeds as you set up for your high-speed pass, but make sure you don't go past 0.95.
Yes, sir. Showing 0.8 Mach right now, 550 knots, accelerating. 0.85 Mach, there's 0.9 to 600 knots. 0.91 Mach.
How's that for the sound of freedom, ladies and gentlemen? All Navy fighter pilots undergo a VA-18 Hornet. Ladies and gentlemen, the FA-18 is a frontline combat aircraft that is capable of speeds of nearly twice the speed of sound. After that 32,000 pound of thrust takeoff, we're going to go live to the cockpit and say hello to the pilot, Lieutenant Kent.
Of course, will rise up from the earth up to the blue sky. Bombs away. Normal
normal speed about 3 miles a minute. Two big Pratt Whitney R2800 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower each. A total gross weight of 48,000 pounds in an exotic World War II aircraft. Get some time in this aircraft first because it will overtrain you for the P-51. If you can master this aircraft and its flight characteristics when you get into Little's lead airplane. From 200 feet, they climbed up to 1,200 feet to keep from being hurt by their own bombs. Bomb bay door is open and bombs away. It is directed and Doolittle is now heading to China. Now sinking a German U-boat by dropping bombs off the airplane and onto the deck of the U-boat and sunk it, and also played a part in rescuing the enemy sailors that were in the airplane. In the friendly shores of America, they were used by the civil. He'll throw that airplane over his head. He will go down to one knee. He will point to the end of the runway or the carrier deck, and Larry Kelly will release the brakes. Now, what you had was forcing the airplane off the ground before it had full controllability. If any one of the pilots would have lost their engine, the engine would have failed on takeoff, the airplane would have swerved in the direction of the dead engine, it would have fallen off the ship, and the ship would have had to continue on. They couldn't go back to get that airplane. It was today. But 230 miles to the north lay the Imperial Japanese First Fleet. The Akagi, Kaga, Hiryu, Soryu, Shokaku, and Suikaku. The time, 7:55. The date, December 7, 1941. And you are there. The Mitsubishi A6N0, the Nakajima B5NK, and the Aichi D3A dive bomber have attacked America's island base, the Pacific Theater of America's first line of defense, under Admiral Hudson Kimmel. Our base had been moved from the West Coast out to Pearl Harbor just the year before, so that we could take care of the protection of our nation from this westernmost island of the United States. The Mitsubishi A6N0. This aircraft built saw action against the Indo-Chinese. The fastest aircraft in the Pacific Theater. A very light, long-range aircraft capable of fighting against anything that we had. The Nakajima B5, a specially designed torpedo between the wheel wells. This aircraft would become infamous after this invasion. High above, the Aichi D3A dive bomber, the red-tailed devil up there above us. Watch as he rolls up on the left wingtip, takes aim at the United States battleship, the Arizona. He rolls up on that wingtip, aims the nose of the airplane down, releases that 250-pound bomb. It goes through first one, then two, then three decks, alongside the number two. Gun in place. That great ship exploded with such force, she burned for 2 days. 1,200 American sailors went to a watery grave. They sleep there today. One of the young officers in the command center sent out a radio program, and he said, "This is no drill. Pearl Harbor is being attacked." Nakajima Edward Yamamoto ordered a special torpedo to be designed for this aircraft. They had been trying for over a year to make it work. They couldn't make it run shallow in the water at Pearl Harbor. They put fins on it finally. First one, then two, then three of them dropped their fish into the shallow water at Pearl Harbor, impacting the side of the United States battleship, the Oklahoma. that great vessel rolled over on her starboard side. She took 400 young sailors down the river. It was almost a month before they got the last of them out. Some of them had survived for upwards of 20 hours, 20 days. Watch the young men as they get their guns out. They've got 45s, they've got young rifles. They're firing against the invaders on that December the 7th morning. And we're going to kick it off with the first visit of the award.
With half the wing ripped off, damage to the undercarriage and the tails, and luckily they all survived. The aircraft was landed safely, and on board was the CEO of that who then was so convinced about the flying capabilities and surviving capabilities that he bought a couple of those airplanes.
You know, it's kind of an extreme test, but I guess if you go to sell an airplane to the captain of an airliner, or an airline, the head of an airline, and you get half your wing torn off in a month flight, and you land safely.
That's the way to do it, I tell you. This is the old stuff which we're all dreaming about. Okay, maybe a couple of more numbers for those who are interested. Fuel consumption is approximately 95 gallons per hour, so we have a range of approximately 6 hours. Crossing the Atlantic, we will be having a couple of fuel containers in the aircraft, so the range is extended to 900 nautical miles. So again, if you want a nice simple rocket ride, I've always wanted to be a jet pilot. It took me 68 years.
Heritage Flight Foundation has the primary charitable mission of providing heritage. Piloted by Major John Collier. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, the first pass of the Heritage Flight. The music you hear was written by Dwayne O'Brien of the Little Texas Band. It is the anthem of the Heritage Flight. It is called We Remember. Going to be retired. But then, when the Iraqi army and its substantial amount of armor invaded the sovereign nation of Kuwait, the A-10 Thunderbolt II, which was facing its retirement, was pressed back into service, inflicting on the Iraqi armor the kind of damage that it was designed to inflict upon the Russian main battle tanks. With a wingspan of 57 feet, a length of 53 feet, and a height of 15 feet. This aircraft can carry nearly 16,000 pounds of ordnance, including bombs, rockets, and Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. So effective and so successful shells. At 4,000 rounds per minute, it carries about 1,200 rounds aboard. The two GE turbofan engines mounted high and away from the fuselage gives it extra protection. The pilot is Air Force Base Major John Beer Can Collier and the A-10 Thunderbolt II.